Hey guys, Mr. Murphy here with another video lesson for you. This one's going to be our part 1 on inscribed angles. I'm going to do another video, part 2, a little bit later. So, for inscribed angles, first of all, remember, look like this. So, an angle made of two chords. In other words, an angle where the vertex, like point L here, is right on the circle. So vertex is on the circle. That's what we call inscribed. So the rule to remember when solving inscribed angles, I'm going to write it out for you, is that the inscribed angle is equal to 1/2 of its intercepted arc. In other words, inscribed angle is half of the arc. Cool. Now, if we want to find the measure of the inscribed angle, all we have to do is take that angle's arc and take 1/2 of it. I'm going to highlight the arc that we're going to use now. That's going to be arc MN. Cool. So the measure of arc MN is 92 degrees, which means the measure of our angle is going to be half of that. So I'm going to call this x degrees and write it in the equation. X degrees equals 1/2 of arc MN, which happens to be 92 degrees. Cool. So all I need to do then is divide that, and then I'm done. So remember, when you're multiplying by 1/2, you're really just dividing by 2. So 92 over 2 would be equal to 46 degrees. So the measure of this angle here, 46 degrees. Simple as that. We're just dividing by 2 to find the measure of the inscribed angle. And all we need is that arc. Alright, that's it for example number 1. Let's go ahead and look at example number 2. Example number 2 is the same idea. I see another inscribed angle here. This time, however, we know the measure of the angle, and we want to find the measure of that arc. Right there. So I can still use this equation here, inscribed angle equals half of arc, to help me. All I need to do is kind of work backwards a little bit. This time what we have is 45 degrees, which is the measure of the angle. Then I'm going to go ahead and call this arc measure x. We know that 45 degrees is half of some arc measure. So I'm going to go backwards. That's going to be 45 equals x over 2. And how do I get rid of a denominator of 2? Got to multiply. So multiply by 2 here, which means multiply by 2 on that side also. These 2's cancel, and when I multiply, I get 90 equals x. So how many degrees is this arc right here? 90. Okay. So this is inscribed angles at its most basic. All you have to do is either take an arc, divide by 2 to find an inscribed angle, or if you know an inscribed angle, that can help you find an arc if you multiply by 2. One or the other. Okay. Moving on, the next couple of examples will be examples of multi-step problems using inscribed angles. So, for instance, something like number 3, we want to find the measure of this arc, arc TR. And I see that I have this 95-degree angle here. And if I look at the sides of that angle, that can tell me which arc I can find with this measure. So if I look at where the angle is located, its endpoints are at S and T. That means if I do this like problem number 2 and double the angle, it will give me the measure of arc ST. So I'm going to do 95 times 2, which is going to be equal to 190. So this arc around here is worth 190 degrees, arc ST. Cool. I'll go ahead and write that over here too. Arc ST equals 95 times 2 equals 190. Cool. Now, we still wanted to find this arc, arc TR. And what do we know about the circle that can help us find arc TR? Well, TR is the only arc missing, and we know that the whole circle is equal to 360 degrees total. I'm going to write that off to the side. 360 degrees total. Okay, so in other words, if I add up what I have so far and subtract it from 360, it'll tell me the measure of arc TR. So we're going to do 360 minus 190 plus 100 is 290 altogether. And that gives me 70 degrees. So the answer for number 3 should be equal to 70 degrees. All right, again, I had to find this arc first by taking 95 and doubling it. If it helps to find which arc that angle will give you, trace the sides of the angle. I realize your assignment's online, but if you have scratch paper, go ahead and redraw the problem, and you want to trace those arcs to help you. All right, cool. All right, on to number 4. Number 4 is another inscribed angle problem, but this time I have an entire inscribed triangle. Now, what is going to be important to remember about triangles in this part of the video? Triangles have angles that add to 180 degrees total. Cool. And each of these angles of the triangle is inscribed. For example, if I look at angle W has its sides right here. And if I notice the endpoints at Y and X, that tells me the arc of that angle is 118. So I'm going to do measure of angle W equals 118 divided by 2. And half of 118 is going to be 59 degrees. Cool. All right. Now, I'm going to back up a second because we want to know why did I start with angle W instead of angle Y, which is the one I'm trying to locate to answer the question. Well, if I look at angle Y, the sides of angle Y, that arc is a measure we don't have yet. So we could solve this by finding that arc, but I'm going through and showing you a way to solve using the triangle as well. Cool. Now, if I want to find the last angle of the triangle, I need this one too, measure of angle X. The sides of angle X are going to be right here. Okay, which means that angle X's arc is going to be this 92 degree arc. So if I come back to angle X, I can find the measure of angle X by doing half of 92. In other words, 92 divided by 2. And that's going to give me 46 degrees. Cool. All right. Last but not least, to find angle Y, which is here, now that we have the other two angles in the triangle, I know that the third one needs to make those two add up to 180. So I'm going to do this. 180, take away 59, take away 46. And when I finish doing all of that subtraction, what I should be left over with is 75. This becomes a 7, 10 minus 9 is 1. In any case, that gives you 75. Alternately, you can do it like this and add these two up first. 180 minus whatever 46 plus 59 is, which in this case becomes 105, which also gives you 75. Either way you want to do that. So final answer, number 4, should be 75 degrees. Okay, so that is solving inscribed angles when you have an inscribed triangle. The other way you could do that is to simply find the arc of your angle first, divide it by 2. I just wanted to make sure to show you a couple of different ways. All right, here's going to be our last one for this video, which is problem number 5, solving for variables using inscribed angles. So, angle L here, I'm going to go ahead and trace the sides of angle L, has a measure of 3x plus 5 degrees. And if I notice over here, arc MN, which is the arc that intercepts our angle, has a measure of 100 degrees. Cool. So, of course, let's remember our inscribed angle rule, which says inscribed angle equals 1/2 of the arc, which is something I can use to write our equation here. The inscribed angle, here I'm going to write it using symbols first. The measure of angle L is going to be equal to 1/2 of the measure of arc MN. So measure of angle L equals 1/2 the measure of arc MN. Now, when I substitute those things in, it's going to look like this. 3x plus 5 equals 1/2 of 100. So I just substituted the 3x plus 5 for angle L, the 100 for arc MN. Now, I'm going to do the math over here before I start trying to move things across the equal sign. 1/2 of 100 should be a piece of cake. That's going to be 50 degrees. So 3x plus 5 is equal to 50. Cool. Now I can begin to solve for x by canceling things out. Take away the 5 from both sides. That gets rid of this. Leaves me with 3x by itself. 50 minus 5 is 45. Last but not least, I got to get rid of the 3 in front of my x, so divide by 3. Cancel that out. And then 45 divided by 3 gives you an answer of x equals 15. Cool. And then when I plug that back in, you'll see that the 3x plus 5 works out to be exactly equal to 1/2 of 100. So 3 times 15 plus 5, 45 plus 5 is equal to 50. And 50 degrees is 1/2 of 100. So we've done our math correctly here. Okay. Alright guys, this is the first part of assignment number 2. It'll cover the first half of those questions. I forget exactly how many that is off the top of my head, but this should get you through the first half of assignment number 2. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, come to the office hours or send them on Edsby. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a great day.